What you saw in the video were what I fondly refer to as my cardboard drum set. I am in Minnesota, very north, in a place called Evelyn, Minnesota. I didn't have my pads that you saw in the last video that I did with me. Didn't have my acoustical drums, so I decided I'd have to build another set. I also decided I'd work with mesh heads. I needed some shells, so I went into my local lumber yard, Porky's, and I got concrete forms for pouring forms for cylinders, like posts and so on. I used a 10-inch cylinder, but you have to be careful because if you're going to use conventional drum heads rather than the drum heads that I made, normal drums are exactly 10 inches. These cylinders come in 3 different 10-inch sizes. And the man at Porky's told me that they shipped them, they have a 10-inch size that's really 10 inches, a little bigger, that fits over that 10-inch, and a little under, which fits inside the 10-inch because that's the way the companies ship them. So if you're going to use conventional mesh heads, you better really take your tape measure and make sure that you get the real 10-inch head. The mesh on here is called pet defense in a lot of places. You can get it practically anywhere. I went to the next town over to Virginia to Ace Hardware, Grandy's Ace Hardware, and I bought it there. It's used for screen like window screen, except it's special window screen that when your pets stick their claws into it, what happens is their claws bounce off this. It's not particularly any stronger, it's just that it bounces. I then took 2 hoops. I put the pet screen on one hoop and I glued it on to tack it, and I used either Fabri-Tac or liquid laminate. Both of them are by Beacon Company. I got this in Virginia also at the Ben Franklin craft store. You could also use airplane Dacron glue. Once I put it on, then I put the other hoop on top, clipped them together, and put the glue on, clipped them together, and shot sheetrock screws in. So they dried like that. They dried in form. The tension lugs and tension lug casings are just straight ahead little angles and screws. I used 1/8-inch screws and it seems to hold. Inside is the transducer, the pickup or whatever you want to call it. This is the unit. The bar that I use is a bar that expands to clip between 2 beams, so you put a junction box on in your ceiling. You can buy it with the junction box or without the junction box. I bought it in Virginia at Menards without the junction box. So this can expand to any inside of your drum. Up on top is a cone or a pyramid. Underneath that is the normal piezo pickup glued on, and on the bottom here I made a cushion. Now what I used for this material was sanding blocks that GM puts out that you can buy in paint department like at Menards. And I cut up the sanding, they're a good nice foam for doing this with. And I cut them up with a meat cutting knife. Electric meat cutting knife, which really works really nice. And I glued them together using silicone as usual, and now I have a cushion under here that'll absorb any extraneous sound. Then you can either glue them in with silicone. I have a little sponge on either side, or you can shoot screws into them. The top of the pyramid or the cone should be about 1/4 of an inch above the bearing edge of the shell. So when you put the head on, it kind of squishes that top head. The other thing that you can use as a head is airplane Dacron. I use this with Cleve solo percussion, and if you ever saw a picture of the cover of Cleve solo percussion with me and a marimba and 4 pads, I actually used the airplane Dacron on conduit rings. The airplane Dacron works very well, and not only that, if you put a Y connector and take one and put it in your triggering system and the other and putting it in an audio output, you could use brushes on it, and the audio output will put out the sound of brushes. It really works very, very, very nice. I'm going to try to give you some sites that has all this in, because I know my camera wasn't particularly clear with this stuff. Both of these places are to see the cones and how they're set up. This place, the first one, is called Trigger Installation 0001, and it's by musicians near you. That seems to be the site. When I try to get there, I can't get there, so I'm going to give you the straight ahead address. It's http://www.youtube.com/watch in small letters, $V in small letter, equal, X in small letter, N in capital, H in small letter, 7, VT in small letters, GD in capital letters, V in small letters, Y in large letter, and C. The other one is from Drum Magazine, and it says Drumming for Drummers Who Are Fanatics, and it's titled Plugged In. And this address is http://your/own/electronic/drumkit/P4/. I tried to get these by just Googling them, and I couldn't do it. I have them in my favorites, so that's how I know about these. Well, I hope this helped you, and we'll continue on.